Thank you.
And this is going to be a wrap for our show today. I want to thank Bernita Bradley and Cindy Eggleton from Brilliant Detroit for joining us for this last half hour. It was a fabulous discussion. And I want to remind our listeners to join us again next Sunday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Journey to Jobs here on 910 a.m. Superstation. Have a great week and get up and at 'em, folks. There's a lot of work to be done.
Yes, it is.
Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking. Time for thinking ahead. The world.
I'm Sam Riddle, and this is a Handkerchief Head Advisory.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control the same strategy that was used in those days, is used today by the same white. He take a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent, build him up, publicize it, make him a celebrity, and then he becomes a spokesman for Negro and a Negro leader. It's just like when you got some coffee that's too black, which means it's too strong. What you do, you integrate it with cream. You make it weak. If you pour too much cream in, you won't even know you ever had coffee. It used to be hot, it becomes cool. It used to be strong, it becomes weak.
In a recent broadcast, former Superstation.
There's always something new to talk about, and 910 AM Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle. So we're adding some familiar voices and strong opinions to the best talk radio station in town.
Wake up, Detroit, with the Wayne Bradley Show every morning from 5 to 7 a.m. Start your day off the right perspective. The Wayne Bradley Show.
From 7 to 9 a.m., we'll have the editor for the Detroit News, Nolan Findlay.
This is the most volatile time in the country in my professional career. And, that generates a lot of news, a lot of stuff to talk about.
Followed by the one and only David Alexander Bullock from 9 to 11 a.m.
The People Show, man, we bring it to you live and in full effect.
The always insightful and controversial Steve Niebling from 11 a.m. to noon.
And I do want to hear from you what you want to hear from me.
Bankalay Thompson from noon to 2 p.m.
This is the platform where we delve into the facts and informed opinion. We ask the tough questions.
The Cliff Russell Show from 2 to 4 p.m.
I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care.
Spud from 4 to 6 p.m.
Detroit's only African-American talk station, 24/7 Spud is here.
Rochelle Riley from 6 to 7 p.m.
I want to stress that this adventure is about life in Detroit and Michigan.
This Pastor Mo, a.k.a. the Street Preacher, a.k.a. the Street Sweeper.
You listen to the Lola George Show. It's your girl, Lola George.
910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chisane.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary. 910 AM Superstation is in a league of its own. We are the only talk radio station in the Metro Detroit area sensitive to the African American community.
Make sure you join us on what station?
910 AM the Superstation.
910 AM.
910 AM. On 910 AM Superstation.
910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only African American based talk radio station. 910 AM Superstation gives you the flip side, the real side. This is our side.
It's your boy Young Jeezy.
What it do? Hey, this is Lisa Ray, and you're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation.
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media. You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show, conservative political radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the
Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative analytical radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
I sent you some stuff. And welcome to the Wayne Bradley Show here on Sunday afternoon. Thanks for listening in today. Got an interesting show for you. Got a lot of things going on. I want to tell people I actually just downloaded the app myself on my Roku stick, and I think you have it on Amazon TV as well. You can watch 9:10 a.m. live in the studio, and if my kids, I know they're out here watching somewhere, I want to say hi to Madison and my son Wayne Bradley III, a.k.a. Trey, and if my oldest daughter's watching, hey, Gabby, as well. It's really cool. You can actually watch the show, so I hope if you're listening and if you're at home, you can literally watch it on TV, which is pretty cool. So I know my kids are watching right now. So hey, how y'all doing? Hey, so we got a lot of things to talk about today. We're gonna talk about these Roy Moore allegations, and I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about it because if those allegations are true, then it's only one thing probably you should do at this point. But we will see. I'm going to let you hear some of those comments that he made at a press conference yesterday, and I'll just say this: that the timing of it is definitely how can I say questionable, But if any of these allegations are true, and it's a pattern of things where it sounds like in his younger days he was chasing after young girls, then it's not acceptable. I've got two daughters. I've got one that's 14, and I couldn't imagine a 32-year-old man trying to holler at my 14-year-old daughter. I probably wouldn't be able to do this show, not unless I could do it live from Jackson Prison. There's no scenario that I can imagine this being okay. And I think that's just the perspective that I have is that if it's true, he's gonna have to drop out. And I've heard some folks down in Alabama talking about they would do a write-in for Jeff Sessions. So that would be pretty funny if that happened, because that just tells you how much the people of Alabama love Jeff Sessions. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the recent elections that happened this week. Mayor Duggan, I should say, not surprisingly, won handily. But it was a 21.8% voter turnout rate in Detroit. And I think that is something we need to really talk about, because Detroit voters are not suffering from suppression. It's voter depression they're suffering from. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, this is why I say that black folks, we have to get involved in both parties. We've been disenfranchised by Democrats. They now take your vote so much for granted that they don't even come out and work hard for your vote. And it's been now starting to reflect in the lackluster voter turnout rate. And I think that these are the things that we've suffered from. I'm also going to play in the next 5-10 minutes or so. I want to play this interview from Loyola High School in Detroit. They're having an open house today at their school, and I think if there's any parents, you're just getting out of church and you've been thinking about sending your kids somewhere, I think this will be a good place for for your boys and all boys academy. If you're looking for somewhere to send your son or possibly your grandson, this would be a good place to look at. So we've already got the phone lines kind of blowing up here a little bit. So you can give us a call, 313-209-9000. Want to give a special shout out to some folks that I met yesterday while I was at Airtime out in Troy. Jennifer and Renita, what's up? Hope you're listening in today. If not, I'll give you a shout out tomorrow too, but I hope you're listening in today. It was a pleasure meeting you at the out yesterday. I was out hanging out with my kids at the trampoline park, trying to wear them out after hanging out with them all day, and then they had a good time. But hey, Jennifer and Renita. Pleasure to meet you yesterday at Airtime. Thank you for listening in. When I meet folks out in the street and they talk about the show, it keeps me going here. I want to give a shout out to one of my best friend's father, Mr. Blocker, if you were listening as well. All these people that have been walking up to me and letting me know they're listening in, I appreciate it. Definitely keeps me going here. So I guess we're going to jump in with a couple calls first, or we're going to – we got already people calling in already. So let's go to John, who's on the line. John, thanks for calling in. Hey, John, you're on the line with Wayne Bradley. John. Oh, Johnny. Dear Johnny boy, you're on the line with Wayne Bradley. How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Man, I ain't knocking the Republicans, and you're a Republican. That's fine.
Yes, sir.
But people's in certain peoples in certain parts of this country,
mm-hmm.
they letting them know who boss now. You see them 2 governor elections they lost. Next year they're gonna lose more than that.
You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up.
Even though Duggan won, all we got to do is make him more accountable. That's all. Yeah, he the boss now. He the big chief now. If things don't go like we think they go, we just go to his office. What do you think about that?
I'm okay with that. I think you're going to be okay with the work that John Duggan is doing. And John hung up. I guess John just mad. He wanted to let people know that they're going to show up at Duggan's office, but that's fine. Let's go. You know what? We're going to play the quick. It's only like a quick minute or so. We'll play the comments that Roy Moore said yesterday at a conference, a press conference he had.
Everybody in this room, every person watching on these cameras should ask themselves, isn't it strange that after 40 years of constant investigation, people have waited to 4 weeks prior to the general election to bring their complaints? That's not a coincidence. It's an intentional act to stop a campaign. May God bless you, bless the state of Alabama, and the United States of America. Thank you.
That was Judge Roy Moore speaking to supporters.
Yeah, that was Judge Roy Moore. And I think that his supporters are going to stick behind him. The White House seems to be taking a more wait-and-see approach. Kellyanne Conway had her own set of comments and basically said that he should step down if any of these allegations are true, which, like I said, as a father of 2 girls, I look at it differently from the political end of that. We can't hold our elected officials any higher or lower than these Hollywood actors that have been getting exposed this week, and Hollywood producers. And now the difference is, what I will say, the big difference is this stuff was accused of happening 40 years ago. And so before we go and just totally throw them out the window, you'd like to get some facts. You'd like to get some kind of confirmation, something, because, he's been a judge before already. So it seems like these kind of things would have been, put out there before. And so, but like I said, I'm not going to sit here and defend that. I'm glad I live in Michigan. I'll say that. Glad I'm working here in Michigan and don't have to even really defend that, because I sure wouldn't want to have to. So let's go to Olaf, who's on the line here. Olaf, welcome to the show.
My man.
How you doing,
the only
brother?
Republican I ever had love for, besides Michael Steele. What's up, man? You all right, brother?
I'm all right. How you doing, sir?
All right. Good to talk to you, man. Hey, I heard about you. The guy down there. What's that? Is that in Alabama, Arkansas, Moore?
Alabama. Yep, Alabama.
In Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the old white man Republican, sticking his finger up at little kids, little girls, and everything. But that's Trump-like, anyways.
Whoa. Let's also be clear here. They never said.
Trump.
I imagine you're keeping it real, but what I'm saying is, one, these allegations are 40 years ago, and he was a Supreme Court judge, and you got to go through a lot of vetting then, and so now all of a sudden, even when he ran for Senate, no one remembered this at all, and when he was in the primary, and now all of a sudden it just comes out 4 4 weeks before the election or whatever. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, even someone, I think people with common sense who just don't have a good trust of politics.
It's a little, it's kind of. I can see where you're coming from with that. It's kind of, all of a sudden now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if this happened,
these allegations come out.
Yeah, if this happened in the last 5 years, and there was some kind of, I would assume there would be some kind of proof or something they might have kept or notes they might have made or whatever, then I'm like, this is something serious. But 40 years ago, and no one, and it was just no proof, no one that they told about this. It's hard to believe, but again, at the same time, when you start getting multiple women making these complaints, that's where I come in and say, well, hold on now. Maybe we do need
like Bill Cosby, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what it feels like to me. It feels just like what happened with Bill Cosby, and to me, so I can't hold an elected official, Republican or Democrat, above the same standard you would hold a Hollywood actor to, and that to me is. To me is where that's going to be the problem. This guy he's one of only 100 senators in the whole country. It seems like your background should be impeccable, at least from that standpoint. You might have made mistakes. No one's perfect, but those kind of allegations, that's a no go for a lot of folks. And I've seen you've seen some Republicans already begin to withdraw support or whatnot. But I think that. Before we totally
back away from them.
Well, I mean, that's understandable because at the end of the day, you don't want to. Would you want to associate yourself with someone that's? And we're not talking about just harassing a woman. We're talking about pedophilia. We're talking about going after high school girls. That's Herman Cain was kicked out of the presidential election for being accused of harassing women at his job. Okay,
right, and grown
women. Grown women. So, I mean, I don't have the threshold here seems to be a little different, but I think that one is 4 weeks before the election. So it wasn't like during the primary because I think if he'd have been in the primary right now, he'd be done, which makes me wonder how come these allegations didn't come then. How come they waited till after the meaning they wanted this guy to win so they could use this way, okay, as opposed to if it's legit. This would have, like I said, he's been a Supreme Court judge in Alabama. Are you to tell me that this was, if this did happen 40 years ago, no one brought it up 10 years ago, no one brought it up 15 years ago?
Coming out.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Something about that doesn't add up. I'll just say that. I think that, like I said, if
somewhat suspect,
if it's true,
I can say you on that.
Yeah, it's just suspect timing. It's real suspect timing, and I hope that he's given, if all of these allegations are proven untrue, which I don't know how they could be proven true or untrue at this point when it's been 40 years. I mean, that's something we also have to look at. But he made a comment, and if I could find the comment, I'd play it from the Hannity interview. He said something about how he couldn't remember it, but if he did date anyone, that he got permission from their mothers. So
from their parents,
So at 32 years old, I'm not getting permission from too many parents. I don't know,
Right.
I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. Like at 32, when I'm 32 years old, you should not be getting permission from anybody's parents to go out on a date. Now, maybe to get married, you get their permission, but just to go out on a date, that sounds a little bit shaky. I don't know. I'm not from Alabama. Maybe they do things different down there. I don't know. But maybe. Yes, sir.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, as a father with two girls, you couldn't tell me that LeBron James wanted to holler at my 14-year-old, and I'm gonna be okay with that. I don't care what he's got, how much money, whatever. It's not happening. So. The idea that someone would say, "I'm gonna ask his parents ask the parents for permission," is shaky at best. I mean, even if they were 18 or 19, maybe you should be. If I was 32 and trying to holler at a 19-year-old woman, I might ask for their parents' permission still, because that's pretty bad. But I just, that's pretty bad even at 19. But
that's pretty foul, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like I said.
Hey, but wait, check this out.
Go ahead.
Hey, wait, but check this out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get on local real quick.
Go ahead.
Duggan.
Mm-hmm.
Duggan. Glad he got back on there. He won.
Common sense won for the day.
right. That's right. He won by a landslide.
Yep.
Coleman wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? He came in there. Adolph Mongo ran a poor race for this young man. He put him out there, him, Bakelade, the rest of them cats that's on this station, and other people out there, put this young man out there on Front Street, and he lost. He lost by he got beat up bad, man. That was bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And another thing too, real quick, with that insurance, man, the auto insurance down there in Lansing. Your girl, Sherry, Coleman, and the rest of the 6 senators got those fake. I don't want to cuss, those fake Democrats,
right, down
there in Lansing, that's making judgments for the citizens of Detroit. They are traitors to the city of Detroit.
You know, at some point, I'm gonna get Sherry on. I'm gonna get Sherry on here in the next week or so to talk about that because
I hope. And I actually know Sherry. Me and her, we actually went to high school together. We were freshmen together for. We went ninth grade together. Then she went. She moved out to the suburbs. But I know Sherry and I know her mother. But I'm upset at her because her and the rest of those fake Democrats went down there making decisions for us.
Well, this is the part I don't understand. Is
you don't have to take the insurance. You can still choose
keep your expensive policy if that's what you want. Yep, keep your expensive policy.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to have it. Just some people who like me, I'll take a chance. If it's 50% less than what I'm paying now, I'll take a chance. If I get into a car accident and Lord, I hope it doesn't happen, then I'm just taking a chance. I could walk out the house right now and get shot in the head. You take chances in life. But we had a chance to have insurance, auto insurance.
Had our rates lowered by 25.
They went down there and they screwed it up.
Well, you know, I think what you're going to see happen is you're going to find out that the hospitals and those healthcare organizations were lobbying very hard against those laws because they make a ton of money on hospitals through car accidents. Yeah. And so I had Tom Leonard in my office, and he talked a lot about that. And I think I'm going to try to get him to talk about it from his side and maybe get Sherry to talk about it from her perspective. But Detroiters lost on that one. There's no question about it.
Yes, we did.
Like you said, if you wanted to keep that Cadillac insurance, go ahead. And Mike Duggan has called it out, saying he's going to go after these folks.
That's right. You got Mike Duggan, he went down to the church and he threatened those. He should have.
Yep.
He should have. That's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. He's the mayor of Detroit, and he's fighting.
Well, and that's the thing. I like Sherry. Sherry's a friend, but if that's how if that's how Mike Duggan is feeling, then, I mean, I think Sherry is very strong in her district, so whoever they put up against her is gonna have a really hard time because she's very active in her district. So it's not. I can't take that was just the wrong vote on that, in my opinion. I get where her concern. With the problem I have is that the Detroit caucus
they check her for me.
Yeah, they spun into a redlining issue and a racial issue as opposed to just focusing on the issues at hand, which is giving people lower insurance rates. And that's the part that again, the Detroit caucus, when all else fails, they go to race baiting and talking about those kind of, of course. This is the thing I have an issue with. They said they don't want.
They're scared. Yeah,
they don't want insurers to pull your credit. They don't want insurers to know about zip codes. Well, how do you think they assess risk in the first place? Is by the 911 calls that are placed in your zip code. This is an insurance guy talking to you. So they have to do that. And guess what, folks? If you live in a neighborhood where 911 is called every couple days over fires and they can look at your records and see cars are stolen, that makes it more risky to have your insurance there. And I don't,
I stay. Listen, brother. I stay in Brightmoor. So
there you go.
Know, bro.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? I got the highest insurance rates
in the country.
Insurance rates in the country.
In the country.
In the country.
In the country.
So you mean to tell me I could have my insurance cut off at almost 50%?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I done took a chance on that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I know a lot of people would. And let's not forget about all the people that don't have insurance that might have actually got some car insurance. And so now the risk has even become smaller. Guess what? The more people that buy these pay their premiums, at some point the risk is a little bit different because now you have more people paying into the pot. And I just think that
yes, sir.
I think that they dropped the ball on that. But Olaf, man, listen, I appreciate you calling in today, brother. And
we'll kick it next week, bro.
Okay, no doubt. And I'll be on every day this week, 5 to 7 a.m., brother. Thanks for listening in.
I want to hear the reruns this week, man. I wish to be on. Can you be on all this week? I know it's hard getting up early. Bro.
Yeah, man. I promise to do my best on that, man. I really do. Thank you, man.
Do your best.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
All right. Peace out, brother. All right, so we're going to go to Kevin, who's been waiting on the line patiently. Kevin, thanks for calling in. Kevin. I think Kevin might have been waiting so long in. Nodded off or something. Kevin, you're on the air with Wayne Bradley. All right. Well, Kevin, I'm going to give him a couple more seconds because we did that with John, with Olaf before, and Johnny, that's who it was, who hung up on me. Kevin, you're on the air with Wayne Bradley. All right, Kevin's got to go. Hey, give us a call here, 313-209-9000, where we can talk more about today's politics. We've got a lot of things going on. When we come back from the break, I'm also going to play a short clip of an interview that I had with the director of admissions from Loyola High School in Detroit. They're having a open house today, and if you have a son or if you have a grandson, you might want to have them, go to the show. Go to the admissions and see what they have to offer there. I think it's a very good environment for young men, and I think we have to really pay attention to what kind of schools and the backgrounds and things that we're giving our kids to do during the day. And I can't think of a better way to help build a strong foundation for a young man by sending to a school that also has God involved with it. I know that might hurt some of these liberals' ears to say that, but I think that you come out so much better with a strong foundation that's tied in with God in school. My pastor always says is that's when the public schools began the downcline, is when they took God out of public schools and said you could no longer have a prayer, even at the city board meetings in Detroit. My pastor, Ken Hampton, always said that, and I can't help but believe that you take God out of anything and it can go wrong. So give us a call, 313-209-9000. I'm also on every day during the week, like you heard Olaf say, 5 to 7 a.m. Every now and then I do give you some podcasted information because I might drop some stuff earlier that night or that morning and give it to you then. So I do appreciate everybody that listens in the morning and riding with me that early in the morning, getting your day started with me. And I also want to tell people again, if you're listening, you can also download the 910 TV app on your Roku stick and on your Amazon stick, I believe. And so you can check us out and you can actually watch from inside the studio at home. You don't have to, you can stream it. So many different ways to get to the 9:10 a.m. Sound and everybody who's on the air. New app is coming up soon, so that ought to be pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. And so give us a call, 313-209-9000. You can also get my show podcasted on iTunes on the podcast, SoundCloud, and Spreaker as well. So there's no shortage of ways you can get the content from this show, and I appreciate everyone that's listening in. We got Kevin, but I think we're going to go to Kevin probably after the break. I mean, we're how long? We got 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't want to rush Kevin. Kevin was patient enough to wait, and I don't want to rush him when we get back. So, Kevin, if you're listening in, we're going to bring you in after the break. But we've been talking about all the different things with these elections. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about, I've never seen Democrats so happy to win elections that they probably should have won. That just tells you that there was a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty in the direction. I will say, and this is something, black women came out as the strongest advocates of the Democrat Party in both Virginia and in New Jersey. And so it adds a lot to what Donna Brazile was saying about wanting to spend more and invest more. And listen, folks, as a Republican, I want to do the exact same thing. I believe that now if you look at it, black women, 92%. Black men, where do we go? that's where we need to talk about coming to the Republican Party. I think that unfortunately sometimes a lot of these issues are tied to emotion, and men tend to think with their pocketbook and not with their heart. And we've got to, and I shouldn't say it that way. It's just that they prioritize what's good for the economy, what's good for my family. Then we'll worry about the emotional issues later. And I think that that's what the Republican Party, we need to start focusing more on that, because they're a forgotten voter here, and it adds to that disenfranchisement. So we're going to take a break here on the Wayne Bradley Show, and we will be back. We're going to have the Loyola High School admissions director. We're going to talk to a couple folks about these elections, but we'll be back on the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m., your superstation.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show, conservative lyrical radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show, conservative lyrical radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show.
Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 a.m. Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
If I meet 2 people at each party, that's 10 people every week that I meet. At the end of the year, that's 520 people at parties. Right. That's a lot of names to remember.
That is.
But now, so then I get somebody who comes up to me and says, "Hi, Chuck, do you remember me?" All right, you do the math.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 a.m. Superstation. 910 a.m. Superstation is in a league of its own. We are the only talk radio station in the Metro Detroit area sensitive to the African American community.
Make sure you join us on what station?
910 a.m. the Superstation.
910 a.m.
910 a.m. On 910 a.m. Superstation.
910 a.m. Superstation, Metro Detroit's only African American based talk radio station. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chain.
910 a.m. Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary. 910 a.m. Superstation, the only urban talk radio station in town.
The Russian Revolution, what was it based on? Land. The landless against the landlord. How did they bring it about? Bloodshed. You haven't got a revolution that doesn't involve bloodshed, and you're afraid to bleed. I saw if you're afraid to bleed. But when it comes time to seeing your own churches being bombed and little black girls murdered, you haven't got no blood.
910 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 a.m. Superstation, giving you exactly what you need by any means necessary.
During church services in a small Texas town, Sutherland, Texas, Devin Kelly, a young man whom we know very little about, walked into a church in Sutherland, the Baptist church in Sutherland, Texas, began firing a semi-automatic rifle, an assault-style rifle, and killed 26, left 20 wounded. Among the victims, children, people you would normally see in a church. And he shot basically everybody in that little church in this small town of 400 people. Kelly, a horrible story, once again, follows just barely over a month, age 5 to 74, and it must have been a nightmare.
Yeah, it is. This is now the deadliest church shooting in U.S. history since Las Vegas, and now this one, and just now the 3 of the 5 deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history in less than a year and a half.
We are 910 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. 910 a.m. Superstation has arrived, and we're here to stay.
But the mayor claims he's done all these things that we see that are visually different downtown and in Midtown. So why couldn't some of that money...
Kwame did the same thing. Bing did the same thing.
We're not talking about Kwame and Bing right now. We're talking about Mayor Duggan. If these things have been done, and a lot of great things have been done in the last 4 years, I think that why people feel left out is because the concentration has been isolated.
When you go to another city, do you care about the neighborhoods, or do you care about downtown that you most likely are staying in?
I care about all of it because I don't live downtown. Maybe you do.
I see that differently.
We've got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts.
Coleman Young just proved the fact that he's a buffoon. This guy said, motherland? What does that to relate to?
Let me ask you this, David. Let me ask you this. Before the debate, were you already leaning toward Mayor Duggan as your candidate?
Yes, I was already, because I know about Coleman Young.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm in here debating right now about this insurance piece. It's a touchy issue. That's why, Sherry got a little bit mad at me because I was saying, well, Duggan's right. He's the mayor. I would be mad. If I was the mayor, I'd be mad at my state reps too in that district that didn't do what I wanted to get done. I understand it was some issues about did Duggan reach out and talk to them first and get their input, and that's always a political thing. So he went to Tom Leonard, who's the Speaker of the House. He's the leader. The Republicans have a majority. So it's a big difference on probably why he did that. And so those are the challenges you have. We're going to go to, Kevin called back. We're going to go to Kevin now, who's on the line. Kevin, welcome back to the show. Kevin, you're on live with Wayne Bradley. Kevin, take off the mute button, my friend. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, Kevin, how are you doing? There we go.
Okay, keep dropping. How you doing? How's it going?
All right, how you doing, sir?
Okay. Let me. When you were talking about Mike Duggan, when you were talking about Donald Trump, it seems like you always just give standing ovations to white people.
What do you mean? Now, wait a minute. Mike Duggan is the mayor of Detroit. It sounds like 80% of the black people in Detroit gave him a standing ovation.
No, I think it was 80% of the people like you that gave. I didn't vote for him. I think it was 80% of the people like you.
So you were part of the 27% that voted for Coleman Young?
You know what? Mike Duggan, that's why we have no black leaders in the city of Detroit. He bought them all.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that. I've said many times before he's playing chess, not checkers. All the most credible people that could have been opponents work with him in some sort of fashion. So I can agree with that. But that's smart politics.
On whose part?
Mike Duggan's part. Got to give him props for making those kind of forward-thinking decisions. Anybody that could have challenged him, they work in very high-paying and highly visible jobs. It doesn't require them to have to run against Mike Duggan.
I listened to Malik Shabazz. He says, well, I'm with the Black Panthers, and my roots are from the Black Panthers.
And even he supports Mike Duggan.
Yeah, he did.
That's right.
For a little of nothing. I don't know what you make with the Republican Party, but you sound like the guy that's
Well, hold on. Before we get to talking about what little or nothing, maybe if it wasn't even money involved, Malik Shabazz or myself could clearly recognize that Mike Duggan was a better candidate than Coleman Young. I don't get paid anything in terms of that, so I'm just looking at it from someone whose mother lives in Detroit. That's a situation where the guy who's got the lights cut on, who got the lawns cut in front of the boulevards.
He didn't get the lights cut on. he took credit for it.
He transitioned it. He executed the plan. Yes, Dave Bing started it, which I remember very clearly when Dave Bing was here, the city council and a good portion of the folks ran him out of here because he was trying to make changes in Detroit that a lot of folks just weren't ready for. In fact, I remember him being considered a plant by the white man then. So now you want to give Bing his props because the white man is actually executing the plan. That's how it sounds to me. When I hear people criticize and say, Duggan didn't do that.
He didn't execute anything. If Donald Duck had been the mayor, the lights would have still been on.
I don't know about that.
So I mean, I'm not.
No, I don't know about that because you know what? We've had other stuff that was put in the hands of other people. You would say because they got the funding to get a project done. Did the project get done? Did it get done on time? And Mike Duggan has done that, and that's my point. Yeah, dude. Does he have flaws? I mean, he's a Democrat, for goodness sake. I have issues with Mike Duggan, but it's in terms of how he runs the city of Detroit. He's not. No, you don't have no. He's very anti. Listen, he's very anti-gun, Kevin, and I think that's pretty bad that he's anti-gun in a city like Detroit. So yes, I do. I haven't heard you take issues with anybody that was white. Oh, that's not true.
Donald Trump says
that's not true.
Donald Trump.
You listen. You can't come on here and make those kind of blanket statements. You know who I have issues with? I have issues with Hillary Clinton. I have issues with Gretchen Whitmer, who's going to be running for the governor here in Michigan. So, yes, I do. I have no problem questioning white folks if they're on the wrong side of the issue, Kevin.
Only because they're against the party that you
No. If you were listening, did you just hear what I said about Roy Moore? So, no, you just can't come in here and make these blanket statements. You can say that I am an advocate or I support President Trump. I don't have a problem with that. And in terms of Mike Duggan and Coleman Young, you won't hear me talking about Mike Duggan anymore for a while because he won. That's it for me. And it said at this point now it's all about business and moving forward.
He was talking about him today. Oh, he's great because he put in a great insurance bill.
It wasn't perfect, but it was better than having nothing. Kevin, do you support something that's going to reduce your insurance rates by 25 to 50%? Yes or no?
You know what? The girl that you love so much, whatever her name is, Gay or
Sherry Denogo, yes,
Sherry, right.
Mm-hmm.
She said it wasn't a reduction in insurance. She said it was a shift in insurance.
Well, as long as you shift it off of my pockets, you shouldn't have a problem with that, right? As long as it's shifted off my pockets, right?
No, not off. We've been off our pockets. You
could have chosen a different policy that would have been cheaper, and that's what. And if you want to keep paying the more expensive policy,
if the bill had been that good, the Republicans that you
how about this? If the bill had been the Republicans brought the issue to the
floor. Want it.
No, well, listen, we had certain Republicans like L. Brooks Patterson that didn't want it, but L. Brooks Patterson has been directly affected by a car accident that would change his opinion on that. And I get it. That's okay. But the whole point being is it wasn't a perfect bill, but the reality is that it would have reduced the cost of your premiums for most of Detroiters. And I don't see how when we're paying the most.
Malcolm X has a little commercial that they've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
And when and that's,
I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't even know what you're talking about. Tell me about the commercial.
It's about you.
No,
you're that person. You and Walter.
Me and Walter. I haven't heard that one. I mean, as long as they're promoting the show, I guess it's okay. But I don't know. I don't even know about that one. Is there a commercial that I'm missing out on with me and Walter together too?
Yeah, the commercial that Malcolm X is playing. That's you and him.
You're saying the commercial? Okay, I got you. No, Malcolm X also. Maybe after the break, I'll play what Malcolm X had to say about the Democrats, and that'll maybe change your mind. Because I like Malcolm X. He was all about empowerment. He believed that we got none from putting all our eggs in one basket with the Democrat Party.
I can't believe that you like Malcolm X.
Yeah, I can't believe that you don't believe that. I'm a guy from Detroit, born and raised right here on 7 Mile, Livernois. Went to Mumford High School. I have pride in all that, brother. You can be a Republican and be black at the same time, Kevin. Just a friendly reminder. You can do two things. You can do both. You can be a proud black man and be a Republican. It's not that hard.
I'm a musician, and I was doing a gig for the Republican Party one time, and the Republicans would make a little joke about black people, and then the black people, very few black people were there, so mostly white people, and then the black people, they would laugh, whatever the Republicans say, they would laugh about it.
I'm not one of them kind of guys, Kevin. That's all I can tell you, my brother. That's not me. I wasn't me in there laughing at that, So I can't speak for who was in that room, but that's not how I get down.
You just talk about black people.
Which ones? Coleman Young?
Yeah, you talk about him because he wasn't as good as
he wasn't prepared.
As Mike.
He wasn't ready.
Okay.
He wasn't ready.
Okay.
I mean, you put a qualified black man in there. Listen, I guarantee you down the road, there's going to be some qualified black men and women, I should say, black men and women that's going to run for mayor of Detroit. But this time was not right now.
I don't think you know of any.
Oh, I
so
do. I don't. You know what the thing is? I don't want to put them all on the blast on my radio show, but I think Dennis Archer Jr. would be a great candidate. I think Ken Harris of the National Business League would be a great candidate.
Dennis Archer's father was the one that said, "I'm not going to make a black man richer." So if Dennis Archer thinks like his father,
I don't know anything. Again, these are things that his job is not to make one person richer. His job is to make every. And again, Dennis Archer is one of the best mayors this city has ever had. Quite frankly, he's the one that started the revival of the city. He was terrible. He was terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how was Kwame Kilpatrick? Tell me this, Kevin, before we get out there. What kind of mayor was Kwame Kilpatrick?
Coleman Young Sr. was the best we've ever had.
And then who will be after him?
So we haven't had one yet.
So it's Coleman Young and then nobody else. That's why Coleman Young Jr. Thought he was going to win. Coleman Young II, he thought that people would still believe that and only just vote him in because of his name. That's the only thing he ran. That was the best political move he made, was changing his name.
We had too many coons.
Too many coons. All right. All right.
Like Walter and you.
All right. Well, you must be talking about the whole city of Detroit almost, or 78% of them, because they're the ones that voted for Duggan.
No, people. If black people had their water cut off because of Mike Duggan.
No, they had their water cut off because they didn't pay the bill, Kevin. How many times we're going to have to go through this on this station where people call in and blame and getting their water cut off on the mayor? If whoever the mayor is, at some point you got to cut off the water if people aren't paying. The water is not free. I keep telling people, you want free water, this is placed down by the river. You can go bring your buckets down there, get all the free water you can consume. But if you want clean, purified water, you got to pay for that. Is that too hard to?
If Dan Gilbert doesn't want to pay for water, I bet you didn't have to pay for it.
Oh,
you have a good day.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. You have a good day, brother.
Have a good day.
My brother. All right. We're going to go to Marcia, my favorite socialist in the building on a Sunday. Hey, Marcia, how are you doing?
Oh, boy, thank you so much for taking my call, dear. I want to tell you what your people have done.
My people?
Yeah.
Who are my people? What are you talking about?
Republicans and Democrats. They have spent $5.6 trillion for fighting the war since 2001. And the reason why...
And then President Obama went and bombed up Libya and did all these other things, too, as well. I mean, just
yes, he did. He
went over sovereign land and went after Osama bin Laden. All kind of things that we would be chatting. That's right.
Well, this is a planet for war, and hopefully, we spend trillions of dollars trying to get on Mars, to find life on Mars, and we destroy life on this planet. So tell me how sensible that is. But the reason why the Democrats are losing is because a young lady said that the Democrats are elitist, they are cronies, and they were complacent. And that's the same thing that happened with the Coleman Young administration. They were elitist in that they called citizens in this city every filthy name. They called the voting bloc. See, some of the Carmichael, when we was down south demonstrating, we did not call the seniors, a lot of our people were really uneducated, but they owned property and stuff, but they couldn't read and write. but they sent all of their children to college stuff. So Stokely then was not down there calling us a bunch of dirty, nasty names, suggesting that we are ignorant. And I mean, it was hilarious. It was unbelievable. Now, they know they lost the primary here to Bernie Sanders.
Right.
You know, the mayor did pretty good, but he couldn't get a win for Hillary. You know, I think he's kind of suffering from that. So I think the people that are realize another point I want to make. You know, when poor people make more money, they spend and stimulate the economy.
Right.
You know that.
No question.
Rich people make money. They hoard it in offshore accounts. They remove that money from circulation. So we have got to increase money.
Well, they put it. Let's talk about that just a little bit, though, Marcia. They put the money in offshore accounts because of the bad taxation policies here in America. That's also contributes to why they do that. It doesn't also necessarily mean they hoard it because they want to. They can't spend it the way they want to because it gets taxed at an unfair rate. And I think that that's something we need to talk about. Corporate taxes and all these different things are so high here in America. And, you know, you as a socialist, you don't care about that. You're more than willing to tax.
No,
I know you don't. You know, we're not taxed enough.
No, because you know what? Every person, we are all socialists in some kind of way. When public schools are socialism, the highways are socialism. When you flush your commode, that's socialism.
But it's for the public good. Some of these things you're talking about is for the public good. And at some point, you have to draw a distinct line between what's for the public good and what's just bloating the size of government, okay? Yes, roads, aviation, clean water.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute. What about your republic? Look up Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm.
Eisenhower said no man needs $1 billion. And now we got 3 multi-billionaires who own more wealth than the bottom 50% of the people. You know what? That's the problem.
I disagree with the idea that doesn't.
Okay.
I disagree with the idea that.
Do you have $1 billion? Do you have? You know what? If you want to stop violence in America, give 2 million black males $1 million in their account.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Poverty is what pulls triggers. You understand me? It is poverty that pulls the trigger. You want to stop? You want to stop carjacking? Put $1 million in 2 million black males' bank account tonight. It can be done, and that would be
you got a point about that. You give if you gave what, let's say $2 million to every black man.
Give $1 million. Give $1 million to 2 million black males.
So that would solve all your violence
problems. There
problems.
would be no carjacking in the city. There would be no robberies here.
I would immediately buy me some Cadillac stock. I'd immediately invest in Cadillac, True Religion, Cartier. It might be some key investments. But you're right, it wouldn't be as much violence. There would be no reason to kill each other.
They can do it themselves. They can take $10 per month for 12 months. They're $240 million. But if you want to solve poverty in America, give American people money. Okay?
Interesting theory.
$300 in every American's bank account tonight. Do you know by 2025 we could pay off the deficit? Do you know that? Have you did the math? See, that's why they took math out of school, so you could calculate all of these different things up.
What you're suggesting is that the government, either the government or the rich people, should just give everyone else their money. Doesn't sound very fair to me.
This is for Americans' money. Those are our tax dollars, just like they gave.
So give out the tax, but the taxation in itself is theft. So you're trying to tell me that when you take money from the rich and just give it to the poor, that's how we should do it? What's the motivation to get rich?
Listen, now you know whether or not they ain't taking no money. You know that's not how things work. You know that they think that trickle down stuff don't work. If you want to strengthen the economy, you start from the bottom. Strength comes from the bottom. Enrich the people at the bottom of the rail, and that's how you build strong economy.
All right.
You don't give all the money to the top.
All right, Marcia. Well, I appreciate you calling and giving that perspective. That's something new that I had not ever thought about, but I will think some more about it. I'm going to try to wrap my brain around giving millions of people $1 million apiece just in the name of stopping violence, but I appreciate that perspective. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. We're going to go to Rashad, who's been waiting a while here. Rashad, thank you for waiting on the line.
Hi. I have a comment because with the current mayor who said on national TV, big red colluding, same thing as Carmen Kilpatrick, but Carmen Kilpatrick has 28 years in prison. Mike Duggan has 0 years in prison. It's simple as black and white. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. You have thousands of people without water and single parents who have kids.
The bid rigging is a separate issue, but this whole thing about the water is just very frustrating. Do you blame the CEO of AT&T if you don't pay your internet bill, or do you blame yourself? How is it that the mayor, he doesn't even run in the water department? You don't pay your bills, his stuff gets cut off. I don't understand this. I get all other stuff. You can make the bid rigging as something he should be more concerned about, but how do you lay it on the feet of the mayor's office when people just don't pay their water bill? It's not that they're cutting it off for no reason. They haven't paid their water bill. A lot of times, again, I think this goes back to the poor history of mismanagement of this water department before the Duggan administration, before Gary Brown got in there, of going months, if not years, without having to pay a water bill, and no one cut it off. And now you're to the point when people cut it off after 3 to 6 months. The mayor's cutting off your water as opposed to you just not paying your water bill. I'm just confused on that one. I really am. I get the bid rigging. And let's talk about this for a minute, folks. If Kwame Kilpatrick would have took the deal that was on the table, he'd be getting out of jail right now. He'd be done with his jail sentence. So I mean, I think 28 years is extremely too long, and I hope that at some point that he's able to get his sentence reduced. But let's talk about the arrogance that we all know. As much as we might have loved Kwame Kilpatrick, we know he was extremely arrogant, and he thought he was just going to beat a federal case. Well, look around. Most people don't beat federal cases at any level. Most people don't. He's more special than any other federal defendant who's lost a case to the feds, and that's part of the game. A lot of guys plead out when they know that when it's time to fall, time to fold, they plead out. He didn't have anybody. All he had to do was admit that he had done wrong. He still hasn't done that. Still hasn't done it.
And also, if you want to pay your light bill or your water bill with children, with parents with kids, there are programs that people can get into that can, if you have kids or you have senior citizens or someone that's disabled that relies on these different utilities, then you, as the person that lives with them or the person that's there that's helping, needs to make sure that's taken care of. But a water bill, let's just be clear, it takes a long time before they cut the water off in Detroit in the first place. And so when we're talking about the mayor's cutting it off, how come we're not putting any onus on the people that are actually supposed to be paid? I get it. It's too expensive for some people, or they've added a new fee. But you know what? They don't ever cut it off if you're paying something. They never cut it off. This is people that's going 6 months without paying their water bill and are acting like they're surprised when the city finally comes out there to cut the water off. I just don't get that one. And every single black person needs to wake up, and that's all I gotta say. All
right, Rashad, I'm okay with that. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, black folks, you do need to wake up. Stop putting all your votes in one party and play the political game like other ethnicities do, if that's the meaning of wake up you want. But don't blame it on the white mayor when water bills aren't being paid, and he has to, the water department is run by a black man, has to cut off your water. Just don't get it. All right, when we come back, we got about 4 calls here in the sound here. We're gonna pull those up afterwards, after we go for a break here on the Wayne Bradley Show. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m. Your superstation. We'll be right back.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative analytical radio, giving you what you need to know.
I'm Sam Riddle, and this is a Handkerchief Head Advisory.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control the same strategy that was used in those days is used today by the same white. He take a Negro, so-called Negro, and make him prominent, build him up, publicize it, make him a celebrity, and then he becomes a spokesman for Negro and a Negro leader. It's just like when you got some coffee that's too black, which means it's too strong. What you do, you integrate it with cream. You make it weak. If you pour too much cream in, you won't even know you ever had coffee. It used to be hot, it becomes cool. It used to be strong, it becomes weak.
In a recent broadcast, former Superstation host and known hater Cliffy Woodard dogged out individuals, including myself and a black breast cancer survivor, that dared march and help shut down Woodward Avenue and the Q Line rail in Detroit to protest corporate welfare and use of white supremacist symbols like the Confederate flag. Then Cliffy went back on his word and refused to air a progressive broadcast by the Between the Lines publication in Equality, Michigan that served the LGBTQ community. Cliffy boy, your transgressions against the LGBTQ community and belittling of a black breast cancer survivor, standing strong against the musical icon of white supremacy and corporate welfare, have earned you, Cliffy Woodard, known hater, a Handkerchief Head Award. Wave that damn handkerchief, Cliffy Woodard. You earned it. I'm Sam Riddle, and this has been a Handkerchief Head Advisory.
910 AM Superstation, giving you exactly what you need by any means necessary.
During church services in a small Texas town, Sutherland, Texas, Devin Kelly, a young man whom we know very little about, walked into a church in Sutherland, the Baptist church in Sutherland, Texas, began firing a semi-automatic rifle, an assault-style rifle, and killed 26, left 20 wounded. Among the victims, children, people you would normally see in a church. And he shot basically everybody in that little church in this small town of 400 people. Kelly, a horrible story, once again, follows just barely over a month, age 5 to 74, and it must have been a nightmare.
Yeah, it is. This is now the deadliest church shooting in U.S. history since Las Vegas, and now this one, and just now the 3 of the 5 deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history in less than a year and a half.
We are 910 AM Superstation, the voice of Detroit. Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 910 AM Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
If I meet 2 people at each party, that's 10 people every week that I meet. At the end of the year, that's 520 people at parties.
Right.
That's a lot of names to remember.
That is.
But now, so then I get somebody who comes up to me and says, "Hi, Chuck, do you remember me?" All right, you do the math.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 910 AM Superstation. 910 AM Superstation is in a league of its own. We are the only talk radio station in the Metro Detroit area sensitive to the African American community.
Make sure you join us on what station?
910 AM, the Superstation.
910 AM.
910 AM. On 910 AM Superstation.
910 AM Superstation, Metro Detroit's only African American based talk radio station. 910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
I listen all the time. Great radio personalities.
The new mobile site is incredible. With the visual live feed, this is a whole new level for community broadcasting. I'm also very impressed with the Bible section present both in a written and audio format. 910 AM has really stepped it up to a whole new level.
Tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media. We're the hottest station in town. Whatever you need, it's right here on 910 AM Superstation. The most powerful voices in the urban community. 910 AM Superstation gives you the flip side, the real side. This is our side.
It's your boy Young Jeezy. What it do?
Hey, this is Lisa Ray, and you're listening to 910 AM, the Superstation.
You're listening to 910 AM Superstation, Detroit's only urban talk radio station.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up, it's the Wayne Bradley Show.
And welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show, live on 910 AM, your Superstation. Give us a call here at 313-209-9000. We are talking about all the different things politically here, and I can't believe this here. I got some of my favorite folks in there to call in today. We're going to take this call pretty quickly here from Tracy. Tracy, thanks for calling in.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I am all right. How are you doing?
Well, Ohio State beat us. So,
that's so out of sight, out of mind. That was 49-3. They should have put the mercy rule on us on that one.
But Mike Weber is from Cass Tech, so.
Yeah, I did get a certain amount of pride watching that young man run like an 80-yarder back on us in the.
Right.
I don't think it was like in the second quarter. I was watching at the barbershop with my son, and yeah, they put an impressive victory together, and you got to give them props for that.
Right. Now, as far as the Roy Moore incident, I've been reading a couple of articles and listening to a couple of things on television, which they said dating. And I wish that they would pull that out. He's not dating. A 32-year-old does not date a 14-year-old. Right, because their brain is not formed enough. So for them to even put that in articles, I'm kind of offended by that. And then on the Sean Hannity show, he stated that one of the girls' stories was not consistent with the other two. So is he trying to prove consistency here? He's going to talk himself into a world of trouble. So just allow Roy to continue talking.
Yeah, I'm not. I told people, I'm not gonna wade too deep into that one because. Even if some of the allegations are true, he's in big trouble, and maybe he should not legally, but politically. Obviously, these things happened 40 years ago, so I don't know how much trouble he's going to get into. But obviously, running for U.S. Senator, and people in Alabama are paying attention because the polls are already showing that he's actually down, and so and to me, I think good folks. If you have a bunch of different women making these allegations, that's a problem. And I got a 14-year-old daughter, and like I just said earlier, I wouldn't let any 32-year-old man, I don't care, like I said, if it was LeBron James himself and all his money, I'm not granting you permission to date my 14-year-old daughter. That's sick. It's disgusting.
Right, exactly. I'm not granting permission for my child to go over to Michael Jackson's house for a pajama party either. You know what I mean? It's things like that parents need,
Parents have to make a better decision themselves on these kind of things. But I'm not about to blame. Like I said, the only issue I have, and I'll keep saying this, is that he was already a Supreme Court judge in Alabama, and none of these allegations were brought up during that time. None of these allegations were brought up during even the primary while he was as a Republican. So how come now, 4 weeks before the general election, this is all news? That's the issue. Not the like I said. Now, again, I'm not going to hold him to a higher standard than we've held Bill Cosby, any of these Hollywood
or the
folks,
Catholic priest, or the Catholic priest.
You're no one's above. We're talking pedophilia here. We're talking about there should be no one that's above that allegation, and if there's anything that you can do to prove it, or someone has their story verified, then they have to get another candidate, or they're going to lose. Those are your two options. Either get another candidate, a write-in candidate, or whatever it is, or you're just going to lose. And I think that I would hope that some Republicans would be just more comfortable with losing than knowing that we helped, help someone help a pedophile. That seems to be a fair position to take on that. But nothing's been proved yet, and I think or none of these allegations have even been substantiated. And I think that's the thing we got to be careful of before we totally jump ship on Roy Moore. A lot of Republicans did not endorse him in the first place. So it makes it a lot easier for the guys who didn't want to support him to jump back. And I think that you're seeing some of that as well, in terms of, people question, if he was a good candidate in the very beginning. With some of, because for people who don't know, he's said probably way more. He said some very controversial things over time, including not believing that Muslims should be elected to the U.S. Congress, not wanting to marry, same-sex couples. Again, this is down in Alabama, so I'm just going to, leave it at that in terms of that. Maybe things are a little different down there, but in terms of that, Tracy, he's got some work to do on that, so we'll see what happens.
And then finally, you mentioned voter participation. Mm-hmm. Now, I was looking at the voter participation for jurisdictions within Wayne County. I was looking at some of the affluent jurisdictions, Grosse Pointe Shores, Grosse Pointe Farms, and they still have that 10 to 20% voter participation. You know what I mean? So if we're depressed, they must be depressed too.
That's not to say that other people aren't. Yeah, I think that people are in general have been disappointed with the way politicians have handled their business on both sides of the aisles. I think that's why you've had Tea Party Republicans that didn't like the way things were done, and now you're having these kind of Bernie Sanders Democrats that are equally as frustrated with politics as usual. And I think that is something that Donald Trump tapped into and understood that people were tired of politics as usual, and he took advantage of that. And you got to give credit to where credit's due on that, Tracy. So, hey, I do appreciate you for calling in today.
Okay.
And thanks. I appreciate it. You have a good day. All right, now we've got one of my favorite people I haven't talked to in a while. He hasn't called in a while, and we're going to bring him on the show. He's always here to school me, he likes to say, to help me get my mind right. We're going to bring in Dr. Mack. Dr. Mack, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Wayne. Well, you call those reruns on there. I mean, what's happening? You putting in a lot more volunteer time on Shooty's campaign? I mean, I'm not sure what's going on.
As officially, I cannot get involved with any. I work for the party, so I don't get involved with any individual campaigns at the time. But no, things have been happening. But yes, I will be back on my normal grind. I've got some things going on here. We had some deaths in the family and things I had to handle last week, but we'll be back. We're getting back on the grind. Got a little one on the way, so just a little couple things that keep affecting my habits of sleep and getting up at a certain time as well. So I appreciate folks calling in and getting on me about that.
Well, look, first of all, in all seriousness, as a Christian man, please accept my condolences with your family loss. I was not aware of that. And so we'll be keeping you and your people in thought and prayer.
I appreciate that. I attended 3 funerals in the course of 10 days. One for my family member, one for my best friend's mother, and another one for one of my best friend's fathers. And one was sudden, another one was sick, and my great aunt my great aunt was 96. So I've been telling people all week, man, make sure you spend time with your loved ones. Don't ever hesitate to tell people you love them or whatever. Make sure that people know because you just never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So, but I appreciate that, Dr. Mack. Now, after we've been nice to each other, come on now, give it to me. People actually, when I was at the barbershop, they said, that guy Dr. Mack calls in and he gives you the business. I'm like, he's famous out here. So I appreciate you calling in. What happened to Dr. Mack? He must have hit the mute button. I know he didn't hang up on me.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, can you hear me?
Now I can. Welcome back again. I thought you might have maybe moved around or something in here. I didn't hear you for a minute there.
I thought, well, Wayne, first of all, this is the continuation of the re-education of Wayne Bradley. All right. We're on Chapter 7 now.
All right.
And part of the re-education process of Wayne Bradley is to construct the construct, which is what you are, Wayne. You are a construct. My goal is not to destroy you, but to have you rebuilt with some facts, Wayne. Some facts. Now, one of your mantra is, and, I can't get any Republicans to debate me on that. I can't get Bob Duco. I can't get Frank Beckman. I can't get anybody to debate me. This thing about, the Democrats are leading black folks down a bad path. They're putting all their eggs in one basket. Well, you know what?
That's a wall that you neocons put up, but a wall is made up of bricks. All right, let's go brick by brick. All right, now let's take Virginia for example. 91%.
You went in and out there again. 91. I know 91% of black women voted Democrat in Virginia.
Correct.
All right.
81% of the black men did.
All right.
All right. So now, when you make a statement about black people putting all their eggs in one basket, you do such a tremendous the acumen and intelligence of the African American voter. You know, I don't know if you were.
Would you call putting 90% of your vote and 80% of the men and 90% of your vote into eggs into one basket? You wouldn't say that?
No, I would not. No, I would not.
Okay.
What I would call that is that the vast majority of those people looked at both candidates and made a clear decision as to which candidate. Look here, Wayne.
Dr. Mack, if that was really the case, like the Michigan Democrat Party wouldn't be fighting for straight ticket voting. If they honestly believe that people just went in there and picked people based on that.
Okay. Wayne, you're trying to get off the road that I'm going to have you run down on.
Go ahead.
Stay on the road, Wayne.
Go ahead, Dr. Mack.
What I'm telling you is that the candidates offered a very clear option to black folks. You had Ed Gillespie, who embraced the Donald Trump, Bannon, white neocon, white nativist campaign. Yes, he did. Ed Gillespie's campaign was very clear to try to be Donald Trump in the south of Virginia and try to present himself as some kind of a Republican in North Virginia.
That's who he is. Would you agree with that, Dr. Mack? If you know Ed Gillespie, that's who he is. He was the RNC chairman. He's about as establishment country club Republican as you can get.
But what I'm saying is, when you look at the tweet that Donald Trump wrote about Gillespie didn't embrace him enough. So when he talks about didn't embrace him enough, he talks about those folks that are homophobes, okay, that are xenophobes, those folks that believe in the racist presentment of Confederate monuments in the South. He's talking about all that.
So if he didn't embrace him enough, then that means he didn't do the strategy enough. What you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is, he tried to embrace him, but in trying to embrace him, he emphasized the folks in Northern Virginia as they should have been to understand what Ed Gillespie was doing. So what I'm trying to tell you is, Ed Gillespie is a guy from New Jersey, all right, a Catholic. What he tried to do is, and he was punished by the Trump supporters, is that, hey, look, you know what? You're coming down here trying to pretend you're one of us, and you're not. That's to Ed Gillespie's shame. And that's what I'm trying to warn you about, Wayne. It's going to take a complete collapse of the Republican Party through Corker, through Flake, Gillespie now, for Republicans, the Jack Kemp Republicans, for example, to realize, hey, these folks don't represent us. We're going to have to purge our party of these white neocon nativists that Bannon is espousing. Bannon's not making any excuse about it, Wayne. He's telling you where he's coming from. So when he says he wants a working party to control Republicans, he means the white working party, Wayne. That's what that man means. When this man had the nerve to come to Macomb County, all right, even Scaramucci said, hey, Bannon's way out of line, man. You remember Scaramucci, don't you? You remember him, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I know Scaramucci. The Mooch.
Okay, even he said it. So,
okay, let's take that for perspective. Scaramucci was battling Steve Bannon in the White House for Trump's ear, so that was always going to be a personal issue between those two. But I mean, listen, you're not about to get me here defending Steve Bannon, so go ahead, keep going.
Okay. So now the reality of it is, when you look at what Gillespie was talking, that was soundly rejected in Northern Virginia, okay? And so what's happening is, when you say by putting one basket, hey, look, one part that's offering me a headache, and there's another party offering me a lobotomy. Guess what? So you try to criticize Democrats, which have been a headache sporadically for black people. The Republican Party, as it exists now under Donald Trump and Steve Bannon, offers black people.
Listen, I have a real issue with saying the Republican Party that exists under Steve Bannon. You can say Donald Trump; he's the president. Steve Bannon is a guy that works from the outside, and he's proud to work from the outside. So I don't see how you're trying to bring that together. Now, if he wants to consult with certain guys, that's fine. But Steve Bannon is not what we consider. He's actually anti the party.
A man by the name of William Shakespeare once said, "A rose by any other name is just as sweet." And I'm telling you, Bannon has made it quite clear that he is doing more to support Donald Trump now than he did when he.
And that's how he's got to sell it. He's works for an entertainment media company. He's got to sell it that way. I mean, if I was running a media company, I'd sell myself too as being the guy that's closest to Donald Trump, so I can do speaking engagements, so I can make money and do all those kind of things. It's just a gimmick.
But the problem is we're not talking about a talk show huckster. You've got to get that through your head.
I don't know why. Wait a minute. Why am I? He is the Breitbart editor. That's who he is.
Wait. When I'm talking about a talk show huckster, you're talking about working for him. This is not a game show. This is the United States of America.
All I'm saying is we have to draw lines. I just don't like how we're trying to bring all that into one. Obviously, Donald Trump has been doing it, and just out of curiosity, how do you think he's been doing overseas right now on his overseas trip to Asia?
Oh, he's been a fiasco and a farce.
Has
Are you kidding me?
We've signed multiple deals with all kind of companies since he's been over there. He's set a tone that again, China's going to have to get more involved in this conflict with North Korea, which is a good thing. It should not roll all on America's back. What's there not to like about how he's handled his business over in Asia right now?
Wayne, I'll be more than happy to answer that. Okay, remember in this thing, China is a financial manipulator. Mm-hmm. All right, he's going to get tough to China. He's going to put sanctions on.
He went out again there. You got to stand still, Dr. Mack. I don't know where you must be in a nice thick brick home somewhere where the reception is not as good. You got to stand by a window. Come down from the mansion off the terrace and let's get to a window so we can finish this conversation.
Can you hear me, Wayne?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I apologize for that.
No problem.
Wayne, what I'm telling you is all that tough talk about China,
mm-hmm.
Donald Trump was over there.
It's happening again. Oh. I can't hear you, Dr. Mack.
Hello, Wayne?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, look, I'm not sure what the problem is. But in any event, what I'm trying to tell you is Donald Trump was not tough with that Chinese premier. He wasn't tough with him at all. All right?
I think that he's in let's make a deal mode right now. That's where he's at, and I think
what
that's
deal, Wayne.
I think you can negotiate Asian trade based on some of the restrictions and things you deal with strategically with North Korea.
Wayne, Donald Trump is withdrawing us from TPP, and what I'm telling you is all that does is strengthens China's hand in the region.
He might be willing to strengthen China's hand in the region if they're willing to put the clamps down on North Korea, because that's not our region. Look, handle your own business. That's what he's talking about.
You know what? All you prove to me is how little you know about geopolitics. China does not want North Korea not to exist.
I agree. We don't want North Korea not to exist. We just don't want them to do some of the things that they're doing. The problem is North Korea wants us to not to exist. They want to make threats and things.
Wayne, China will not let North Korea be destroyed, Wayne. That's not going to happen. And so
they might be willing to do a regime change. I tell you that.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely
they might.
Not. Wayne. North Korea is one of China's great partners. Do you understand what I'm telling you? They're one of their great
and America is one of the biggest debtors to China, and they don't want to mess up their money. Everything's still revolved around money. And so if you're going to ask, who do you think has a bigger financial interest with China, us or North Korea?
Listen. America owes China money. China does not owe America
I agree. Money. That's what I just said. So my point being is it's a financial interest.
Wayne, listen. So if I'm the banker and you owe me money, I've got mortgage. Going to try to get tough with me. I'll call in the mortgage,
and we'll go to war on it. I guarantee. That's why it'll never happen. That's the whole point. It's never going to get to that point. They'll keep investing money in us, and they'll keep manipulating their own currency. So that's never going to happen.
Wait a minute. Wayne. When you say we'll go to war, you mean war with China? Is what you're talking about?
The jokingly saying is that we would, if they called their note in now, obviously Donald Trump wouldn't pay it right now, and that would be a catastrophe. We don't want that to happen, and so I'm not trying to say that would happen. My point being is that our financial interest is a bigger priority with China than North Korea. That's all I'm saying.
Wayne, and what I'm telling you is when you say our financial interest, Wayne, you don't seem to understand basic banking principles. What I'm telling you is
if we owe them money.
Wayne, you know what? Part of the problem with you is you're too stuck in some kind of Republican mantra. You can't listen.
Go ahead, Dr. Mack. Go ahead.
You cannot listen. And what I'm telling you is that Donald Trump perpetrated a fraud on the American people when he talked about he's going to get tough with China. He's not tough with China at all. He's complimenting China. He's denigrating our past presidents. Well, you know what? People have been too weak. People have been soft, but all that's changed now. How dare you stand there and try to defend a man?
See, I think that's what you don't like. Is I think you don't like the fact that he's denigrated past presidents, and it's something more personal with you than that.
What I don't like is that when people talk about President Obama was an apologist for saying, hey, look, America's not always been right on every issue, and then people like you applaud Donald Trump for going over there and coddling China, for going over there and allowing China to be the big partner.
I did not like the apologist tone that President Obama would take out on the world stage, apologizing to people that probably already thought less of us in the first place. Yeah, I didn't like that.
You know what?
I didn't like going to Muslim countries and blaming everything on America. No, I didn't like that.
He didn't. President Obama never went there. But, Wayne, part of the greatness of America is we've got to admit when we've made mistakes, Wayne.
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. We can admit that we made mistakes, but we don't have to emasculate ourselves in the process.
Well, nobody's done that. Why don't you seance the guys that he says, all right? Why don't you seance the spirits burning in hell, I hope, of all the Al-Qaeda leaders that President Obama killed, and talk to them about how we've been emasculated. Now, the next thing I want to get you straight on before I leave the airways is the fact of you're saying, well, look, all the eggs are in one basket. You know what? Let me explain something to you. When the white folks moved out of Detroit because black folks were coming here from the South, that was a racist act, Wayne. That has no party affiliated to it, okay?
All right.
Okay. Mayor Cobo was a racist, Wayne, in case you didn't know that.
No question about it. No question about it.
Okay, so one thing you've got to understand in how you denigrate black intelligentsia is that you think that we're so stupid that somebody's got to put a shiny object in front of our face and we go with it. That's not true, Wayne.
Stupid is not the word. Stupid is not the word. I think that we've been conditioned. I think that, it's been a family thing we've passed down, in particular in a city like Detroit that's a union city, that they've been told the only party that cares about you, about black people, is the Democrat Party.
Wayne, once again, facts aren't your friends.
I'm telling you, that's what. Are you gonna deny that? Are you from Detroit? Are you from Detroit?
No, I'm
okay.
No,
all right. I was about to say, because if you were from Detroit, there's no way you would deny that. Most people grew up here with family members that were either in a teachers union, the auto union, and so with that kind of thinking, they would say that Democrats are the only party that cares about you.
Wayne,
and that's permeated for generations now.
Wayne.
I'm not questioning black people for being dumb. I'm saying that that's just the reality.
Part of what you're not realizing is the existence of unions in the first place, which was to protect the worker and maximize.
And I question how much sometimes that's getting done right now.
Well, wait a minute. Hold it, Wayne. Slow down. Corporations, by and large, they want to minimize the amount that's paid to the worker, and they want to maximize profits. So corporations, by and large, have wanted Republicans because they want to pressure Republicans to cut any kind of regulation, not out of concern for the worker, but in order to maximize profit. So when you say that most black people were in unions and were Democrats, that's because unions and Democrats were by and large fighting for the interests of the workers, Wayne, which were disproportionately black due to the black migration from the South, Wayne, starting with Henry Ford.
I understand that, but look where it's got us now. I just said that that's because of the auto workers and things. I get that. But what is the point being is that we're the only ethnicity that plays politics that way, Dr. Mack. You don't go into a room full of white people and say 90% of them are voting Democrat or 90% of them are voting Republican. You know why? Because they spread their vote out. You walk into a room full of Asians, you do that. You walk into a room of Jews, Latinos.
Wayne, hold it. Tell me this. I wish you had gone to broadcast from Utah when you had 99% of the Utah people voted for Mitt Romney. I wish you'd have said that then. I certainly don't see you.
Now, again, when you want to talk about Mitt Romney, specifically in Utah of all places, if you wanted to bring that up, it's because he's a Mormon. He's a Mormon, and the Mormon community is humongous in Utah. So if you want to talk about it from that standpoint, that's fine, but it has nothing to do with ethnicity. White people across America didn't vote that way for him.
Wait. So you do not criticize those 99% of Mormons?
Listen, that is their decision, but my point being that they don't historically just do that. They will vote for Republicans and Democrats. That's not. If you had to study the history of white folks in Utah or anywhere else, they're not giving it away to. And it's only white folks in Utah. So I don't know why I'm even getting to this argument here, Dr. Mack. We're picking apples and oranges. I gotta get. Listen, Dr. Mack. I gave you 18 minutes, and I do appreciate you calling in, setting me straight today. But I gotta go to a break, and we're gonna talk about this more. I'll be back on the air tomorrow morning, and we will handle this. But I haven't heard from you in a while. But I do appreciate you calling in today, sir. Thank you, and have a blessed Sunday afternoon. All right, we're going to go to a break here on the Wayne Bradley Show. I got some callers coming back from the break, and we're going to talk to you guys. I appreciate you calling in today. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m. your Superstation.
This is up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. The Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio.
Don't miss the best day party in town every Saturday at 4 p.m. on 9:10 a.m. Superstation with Chuck Bennett.
If I meet 2 people at each party, that's 10 people every week that I meet. At the end of the year, that's 520 people at parties.
Right.
That's a lot of names to remember.
That is.
But now, so then I get somebody who comes up to me and says, "Hi, Chuck, do you remember me?" All right, you do the math.
Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on 9:10 a.m. Superstation. There's always something new to talk about, and 9:10 a.m. Superstation wants to have you covered from every angle. So we're adding some familiar voices and strong opinions to the best talk radio station in town.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Riley, and I'm so glad to be joining the family at 9:10 a.m. Superstation. We're going to be talking about it all Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Don't miss it.
9:10 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. Great news. 9:10 a.m. Superstation is growing, and you can watch as well as listen anywhere you go. The 9:10 a.m. Superstation app is now supported on iPhone, iPad, Android phone, Android tablet, Amazon Kindle Fire, Windows Phone, Apple TV, and Roku. 9:10 a.m. Superstation, the voice of Detroit. If the conversation is hot and the lines are jammed, give us a try at 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601. That's 313-778-7600 or 313-778-7601.
910 Superstation is off the chisane.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of Detroit, and we want to hear what you have to say by any means necessary.
It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative Political Radio. Giving you what you need to know. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. That's what it is. Listen up.
And welcome back to the Wayne Bradley Show. We're riding out here on the last half hour of the show. It's been so many people calling in with their different opinions and things today. This time is blown by. My goodness. It seems like we just started and we almost done today. So, Dr. Mack, I want to thank you for calling in and, trying to give me some education there. But now it's time to bring in my guy. Because, I give everybody a shot on here. It's time to bring in my guy, Walter. Bang, bang. Walter's on the line. Thank you for calling in, my brother.
That's right. I'm back.
And
I'll tell you what.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, man, I come for, you know me, man. I come in here to reinforce the truth with Wayne, the world-famous Bradley.
I appreciate it, man. I need all the help I can get here sometimes, you know. Because I listen, what Dr. Mack was saying earlier, there's some truth to it. But if anyone, my whole point is saying we're a bigger financial priority to China than North Korea is. And they will straighten out North Korea as to not mess up business with America. Now, in the Trans-Pacific deal, I think again, there's going to be something. Trump is going to come in here and negotiate. He just wants the best deal for America. I don't understand what the problem is on that, Walter. Help me out.
He's not condoning Russia. He's not condoning China. It's all about being strategic as a president, just like you said, negotiating, trying to bring them in this coalition to stop North Korea in their tracks. Okay?
Right.
And China plays a part in that, bringing them people under submission and withholding certain goods from them. And he has not changed his position on the China thing, manipulating the currency, all that. See, these people have been putting words in Donald Trump's mouth.
Right.
And also, he's condoning them now. He's saying that they never did do it. He never put it that way. He just said he gives any country credit if they know how to manipulate another country. Yes, we've taken advantage, but you notice Donald Trump referred to the poor leadership like Barack Obama and their other presidents. You might throw George Bush in there too, allowing these countries to do what China did. That's all he said.
Now, Walter, I gotta ask you this. I gotta ask you this one question. You're my conservative guy here, but what's your take on this whole Roy Moore situation?
Oh man, that's one of the main reasons I called.
All right, go ahead, break that down.
100% fabricated lies. And I would say, because the timing of it, a person in their right mind.
I'm not comfortable calling it just total lies, but the timing of it makes it highly questionable.
Listen, if it was so important, if those people were so, how can I put it? Those women
distraught.
And by the way, when Donald Trump came out real straightforward against those lying women that was talking about he was molesting him, a group of them. You notice when he called them a bunch of liars, and I'm going to swear every one of you liars.
But Walter, let's be clear here. These were grown women talking about he was harassing them. It's a difference between grown women than we're talking about dealing with a 14-year-old girl. Yeah, he was a.
No.
They were essentially calling him a hound. I get it. But this is different. This is a little bit different here when we start talking about underage girls, and I think that ought to at least catch the attention, in my opinion, of every conservative, every Republican. At least like, hey, let's find out more about this or investigate or whatever. Like I said, I'm not totally throwing them under the bus here, but I think that that should make a lot of people uncomfortable.
Listen, never fall for the trick of using the word if he did it. I notice people that you and I both admire.
I mean, come on, though, Walter. This is for pedophilia. This is Herman Cain got kicked out the election as president for 3 or 4 women claiming that he harassed them. Okay, when he was running for president back in 2012.
No.
So I mean, I
remember that.
And again, I'm
gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I do not respect Herman Cain for wimping out.
So he wimped out.
Respect him. He wimped out. He did not fight. He didn't stand up and fight.
And I do agree that I think that's the biggest difference with Donald Trump than any other political candidate is that he doesn't back down from anybody. And I think that's why a lot of his supporters still stick with him is because he's never backed down. So if he doesn't back down, they don't have to back down. I think for certain people that's very empowering, a very empowering feeling.
And because for you to back out is to or say silent against the lies is approval. To me, silence is approval. Or you're passive. You mean you approve their lies. You approve of them in an indirect way. And Judge Roy Moore,
mm-hmm.
he is this is the problem. This is the key. He represents a big threat to the evil policies, to go against the evil policies of the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Promoting murdering babies through their platform, killing babies through abortion.
He's the truth.
One more conservative I don't want to use the word Republican no more, hardly, but he represents one more conservative that if he gets in there, he's gonna 100% believe stand behind Donald Trump's policies, push forward his agenda, which the devilish or backstabbing John McCain Republicans and Mitch Marble-Mouth McConnell and the rest of them are standing on the sidelines, holding this country hostage by not passing Donald Trump's policies that they should have done in the first 3 months, no later than the first 6 months. Obama never did care. Health care should have been gone. History. What are they doing? John McCain's mad at the Republic. Look, you forgot. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Remember, people like Mitch McConnell and them are not only trying to stop Donald Trump, they're trying to stop us. They voted for him because they're angry, they're jealous, they're envious, they're mad. And remember John McCain called people that voted for Donald Trump, like some of the people that called the station stupid, he called us crazies. So he's mad at Donald Trump because when Donald Trump was out on that campaign trail,
he did disrespect John McCain. Now you're gonna say he didn't? You got to at least say he disrespected John McCain by saying he wasn't a hero.
Yep.
So I mean, it's not all John McCain here. Yeah, I mean.
But they're mad, and even if it means losing the Congress, even if it means giving this country back to the Democrats.
Nah, I don't think they're mad. I don't think that they're mad yet, and I don't think that they want to give it back to the Democrats. But let's keep an eye on it, Walter. I appreciate. Listen, man, I got to go to this next. I appreciate you calling in today, man, and helping me out and right this ship.
Dr. Crack Mack is wasting his time. He's unteachable.
Okay. Well, hey, Walter, thank you again, my friend. I got to get through these. I'm going to get through these last couple calls here. We got about 5 callers left here. I'm going to go to, let's go to Gregory. Gregory.
Wayne.
Hey, Gregory. Thank you for calling the Wayne Bradley Show. How you doing today, sir?
I'm okay. I want to speak on 2 issues real fast, if I may.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. The first one, you brought up car insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And in the quote-unquote repeal or reform, car insurance reform.
Right.
We are advocating as a party, libertarians, are advocating the repeal of the no-fault law, along with the repealing of the fees that goes with it, the mandates, the regulations, the permits, and the license.
Mm-hmm.
One of the regulations that's attached to it is that no competition is allowed, either within Michigan or across state lines. We would allow, for instance, big box stores to sell insurance whenever the customer walks in there and asks for them to cover them, i.e. Sam's Club, Costco, and so forth. We also believe other big businesses, for instance, let's say AAA or Blue Cross Blue Shield, whatever, but it wouldn't be allowed to where only 3 companies can offer car insurance here in the state, i.e., AAA, Allstate, and State Farm.
Mm-hmm.
The real issue is the repealing of the no-fault law and advocating the allowance of the free market to expand on this issue.
Okay.
I called AAA in Indiana, AAA Illinois, and Ohio. Now, I'm 60 years old. They each told me that I would be paying under $60 a month in my premiums.
Right.
Based on me telling them my driver's license number. I think redlining is the cause and effect of issues like the no-fault law and other mandates and collectivist laws that were passed in the state. And it's a shame that a lot of people are falling for what I think is fool's gold when they talk about car insurance reform.
Right.
It should be repealing of the no-fault law.
Have you talked to any of your any state reps about that, Gregory?
No, because they are all collectivists, so it's a waste of time for me to even speak to those people. What we're doing at the state convention here in Michigan and others, we are advocating the repealing of the no-fault law, and we'll do it, and we'll try again next year at our state convention to advance the idea of repealing the no-fault law.
Okay.
And my last subject is this. on that petition drive that they got going around for the anti-gerrymandering thing, when they want to create a commission. We read the details of that petition drive. Now get this. It has 4 Democrats on it, mandated 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and 10 independents. At our state convention, it was talked about, and we know clearly that it would be a rigged system. It's going to screw us libertarians out of the process and other small parties, knowing that it's mandated that 4 Democrats.
It's questionable who those 4. It's questionable who those 4 Republicans would be too. I mean, this is really a whole Democrat little plot and plan here. So anybody that's listening about that gerrymandering effort, don't fall for it. Don't fall.
As a party, we think it's going to be rigged for the 2 major parties to run roughshod over small parties. Because now get this. I have anyway, when I was campaigning, advocated that we have a square grid for all districts within the state of Michigan, that with an equal amount of citizens in each square grid. The idea of a minority majority is race pimping at its highest, to where there has to be a certain amount of districts in Michigan to where a minority group has to be the majority in that district. Let's get away from the race pimping philosophy of creating a district throughout Michigan and just go with individuals with an equal amount of citizens within that square grid. Because we know the 2 major parties are going to find some way to rig the system against us libertarians and other small parties.
Interesting.
And lastly, Donna Brazile revealed a lot of the party, of the Democratic Party, how they rigged the system against Bernie Sanders. He got chumped big time last year running for president, and it was laughable to hear some of the Bernie Sanders people whine about it to me when I was campaigning for Gary Johnson, and they were glad to receive some of the Gary Johnson handouts that I was passing out, saying that they could not vote for Hillary Clinton, knowing that the system was rigged in her favor.
Interesting.
So, having said that, are you going to buy Donna Brazile's book for Christmas or for whatever?
I might do it just to support her, because she's done some great work in the last couple of weeks. She's definitely made my job a lot more fun, pointing out the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party. So, hey, Gregory, thank you for calling in today, brother. I appreciate that. Appreciate giving the libertarian perspective, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, we're gonna go to Vincent. Vincent's on the line. Vincent, thank you for calling in the show today.
Enjoy listening to the show. You know, there's another aspect of I'm not Democrat nor Republican. I'm independent now.
Okay.
Excuse me. And this scenario with Mr. Morris, I hope they get to the bottom of it to either exonerate him or either to indict him, one of the two. And because of the time factor, I don't know if their statute of limitations would prevent that, but it is worthy of pursuing investigation if it can be discovered. Let me tell you, earlier this morning on one of the other talk shows on the station, they talked about the Republicans as being so pedophilia or full of sexual improperness. They forget Weiner, who had to step down.
I mean, like I said, this is a joke. I mean, listen, and I don't like to make this is a disgusting issue.
Bill Clinton had 3 women accused him
of rape.
Yes,
exactly.
3 women. And that was others that he talked about his,
a good friend of Harvey Weinstein, I might add. Good friends with Harvey Weinstein.
Yes, and I know you're going to have to go real soon because we're getting close to the end of the hour. But China has a vested interest. Now, before, when Donald Trump first approached them, they didn't have a dog in the fight.
Right.
But if you remember the nuclear testing that was exposed first of the month, December 3rd, October 30th, was this tunnel collapsing, part of the mountain collapsing where they're doing their nuclear testing site. It's the nuclear fallout that China is not going to want to have. In fact, I was reading it, they'll probably take that as an act of war if nuclear fallout comes to their doorstep. They have an interest in putting this guy now Kim Jong-un that they did not have before.
Well, that's what I said, Vincent. It might be a regime change. They might want to not destroy the whole place. They sure might not have a problem getting there and getting rid of him.
Exactly, because now it threatens their country, the nuclear fallout from the testing. This is the problem for China now that they did not have when Donald Trump took office.
Right.
And so I'll yield to someone else because I know they're always short, and I'll catch you later.
Well, I appreciate it, Vincent, for calling in today with that perspective. You have a good day, my friend. That's what I was trying to tell Dr. Mack, was that I just think that there's financial interest that China does not want to let North Korea just get too out of control. I mean, you're right. They've always had a business relationship with North Korea through all the dictators in that family. But that's based on proximity and business. But if you're not going to mess up business with your big customer based on something your little customer's doing. That's just how I was comparing to. China knows whether it's bread, it's butter. There won't be any money to manipulate if America wasn't doing export, doing business with them and importing all these goods from China over to America. If we, like I said, that's a mutual beneficial relationship, folks. And China's not going to mess that up to deal with old rinky-dink North Korea and the Rocket Man himself. We're going to take care of that. All right, we're going to go to Jerry, who's on the line. Jerry, thank you for waiting on the Wayne Bradley Show. Jerry, you're live. Jerry, you're live on the Wayne Bradley Show. All right, I guess Jerry's not going to want to talk today. We've had a couple folks doing this today. Listen, folks, you want to call the Wayne Bradley Show. I'm going to get to your call. I want to talk to you, though. You're going to have me wait. Jerry, you're on the line. And here's Jerry. Jerry. All right, let's go to the next caller. Jerry's done here. All right, we're going to bring in Bob. Bob's calling. Bob, thank you for calling the Wayne Bradley Show.
This is Bob Carr. I got to tell you, patience, you have it.
Of a Buddhist monk. I have a saying: patience, persistence, and persuasion. It's the wonderful P triangle. There you go. I like that. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Well,
gotta have some patience nowadays.
You learned it. We thank your mother, huh?
Yes, that's who I would definitely thank. My mom. My mom was a teacher in Detroit public schools for 30 years, so I'm sure she had to have some patience too. So I give a lot of the credit for my patience to my mother. Yes, indeed.
I would have guessed that. As you know, I'm running for the United States Senate, but today I just want to comment. I won a primary for Congress in the biggest district, first district of Michigan 20 years ago.
Okay.
But everything has changed. Everything has changed because today I was listening to the Redskins game on the radio. What pops up on Facebook? That you're alive. And I hit the button, and there you are.
See, I like that.
The entire Canada, yes, there you were.
Could you actually hear the callers calling in? Because I plugged in this little thing into my phone, so you could hear it this time?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, that's good. Now we know that's working again.
Call me, and I thought, well, okay.
Yeah, I was holding the phone this time, but now that we know that's working again, I'll start, that's good. Excellent.
Well, it's amazing how voters can now be in touch with politicians and people who are running for office and people like you and the talk shows on 910. It's just
now, Bob. I don't want to put you in a rough position here. You're running for Senate, but I got to ask you. We got another Senate candidate down in Alabama that's got some issues right now, and what's your take on that right now? I mean, it's bad timing that it came up
on that.
You say you don't even want to touch it.
Well, if he's guilty, then there's a problem. But at the timing, my professor in college would say it doesn't smell like Chanel number 5. It smells like Corral number 6.
Yeah, no, I got to say the timing. The timing on it makes it absolutely terrible and questionable. But like I said earlier, if any of this is true, then he's got he's not a good candidate. Not a good candidate for you.
Yeah. And he's been a pretty go-getter, erratic. There's all kinds of names, kind of person through his professional life.
Yes,
which has gotten him to the point that he's running in the finals.
Oh, yeah,
So,
no, he's been a champion of conservative issues that dates back for 15, 20-plus years. But that's why I have a problem with why hasn't this ever come out before. I mean, he's not a newcomer to politics. Seems like these kind of allegations would have been spoke on a long time ago. But as I'm wrapping up on today's show, Bob, I want you. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much more time. I want you as we wrap up here. As you're considering as you're running for your Senate race here, can you just give people with your vision of why you would be the best candidate for U.S. Senate here?
Well, two things happened. I got an email again today from Debbie Stabenow, which said enough is enough. We're supposed to be fighting for jobs. Donald Trump is not fighting for jobs. Well, now who believes that? And I was tired of her year and a half of doing that and not focusing on Michigan. And the other side is I've worked in the inner cities of Michigan, Benton Harbor, and all over the place. And it's time to put all our focus on Michigan. And my staff's going to be community development specialists. And we're going to get back in the little towns, including Detroit, because there are little towns inside of big towns, little communities inside of big towns. And we're going to get their visions, find out what their opportunities are, help them get going. And we don't have a lot of time to save some of these towns. They're becoming ghost towns, and they don't need to be.
Amen.
So that's my focus. And also, I think I can win. I know I won, was outspent 20-1 and got almost 60%, 58% of the vote 20 years ago. So it's not about the money; it's about the message.
All right.
It's elect Bob Carr, and I do posts, and people love them. I write stories, and it's about every other day. And yesterday was about the veterans and a couple pictures and so on. And so that's what we're doing.
All right.
To answer your question, it's all about focus on Michigan. Michigan United States Senator, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's what it's all about.
All right.
We need to have a full-timer. That's all.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, at some point as we get thicker into these races, I'm going to definitely bring you on. So maybe bring you in studio on a Sunday, and we can talk more in depth. But I do appreciate you giving us a call today, sir.
I'll be there. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right.
I'm glad to see you today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot. All right, so I guess the Facebook post things do work now. So now I'll be able to plug in and people can actually hear it, which is awesome. I want to give everybody all of the opportunities to, one, go if you're at home listening on your live stream or some on your computer, you can go to Roku or your Amazon stick and download the 9:10 a.m. Superstation app where you can actually watch the show in studio. And listen to every caller, and you'll see all the call-in numbers. And if you want to get involved, you can actually call in right from there. So that's pretty awesome. If you want to hear my show podcast directly, you can go to your iTunes and look up Wayne Bradley Show and download it, and you'll hit subscribe, and you'll be able to get every show once I download it on there. You can also go on SoundCloud and get the Wayne Bradley Show. So we make it real easy. And also it's Spreaker, which is like the blog site, but you can get all my content right on there, some of the one-on-one interviews as well, which I cut up and present those. So make sure if you're in the area today and you have a son or grandson to stop by Loyola High School for their open house that they're having today. Like I said, you can do no better than giving your son or your grandson a foundation that also has something to do with your faith and with God. And I think that's a lot of times that's what's missing from a lot of our young folks. So make sure you get a chance to check that out. Loyola High School. It's on Finkel here in Detroit. And I want to make sure, again, if you want to go to my website, conservativebro.com, or follow me on Twitter at conservativebro. That's how you can keep in touch with me during the week. My show is 5 to 7 a.m. Weekdays. In case my kids missed it earlier, I want to shout out my kids. Hey, Trey, Madison, and Gabby, if you guys are watching on the app, wherever the camera is, how y'all doing? Jennifer and Renita, pleasure meeting you guys yesterday. And also I had one of my friends here, Spencer Austin. I want to congratulate Spencer Austin here for getting a newborn, his newborn Virginia. He says she's a future Republican. We've got a lot of Republicans on the way. My son is on the way too. So congratulations again, Spencer, on your new daughter. And that's always a blessing. Again, make sure you tell the folks around you love them. Enjoy your day here on a Sunday and have a blessed day. You're listening to the Wayne Bradley Show on 9:10 a.m. your Superstation. See you tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Wayne Bradley Show, conservative lyrical radio, giving you what you need to know. Listen up. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. It's the Wayne Bradley Show. Conservative lyrical radio. Giving you that's what it is.
910 AM Superstation is the voice of the people. Don't believe me? Just listen.
Great programming. Inspirational.
I know there's some good info on 910 AM Superstation.
The latest promo for the 4 to 7 slot at the end says the Goon Squad's on speed dial. Got me listening to reruns up to the dial.
OMG. A-listers on the radio.
So when you think of 910 AM Superstation, we want you to tune in, call in, and don't forget to find us on social media.
I'm Sam Riddle, and this is a Handkerchief Head Advisory.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education. Gave him a long coat and a top hat and made all the other slaves look up to him. Then he used Tom to control the same strategy.